Hello everyone, and welcome to Nat 1. I'm Jenna, the Dungeon Master, they're them, and let's meet our players.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm Peach. I'm playing Aelar, who is an elf with a chicken.
Oswald. I'm a gnome sorcerer. And my name is Declan. In real life.
What up? I'm Andrew. I play Flopsy the Harengon Bard. My character and myself are he/him.
Hey.
I'm Lauren, she, her. I play Holland, the Harengon Paladin Sorcerer.
Righty-roo. So, last session, which, by the way, you can catch up on YouTube, because I do upload them soon after the stream, so please do go there if you've missed out on any of it.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, do all that, whatever. But yeah, so last time, you were all taken to see Mr. Witch and Mr. Light in the staff area, where they wanted to meet you and find out, especially, obviously, Aelar and Oswald, why you decided to come to the Witchlight Carnival. Asking a couple of questions about, obviously, the fact that Aelar was there with somebody before. Aelar doesn't seem to remember that. And Oswald is here for the first time with friends. Holland and Flopsy work here and have been given the day off, so they obviously know why they are there. But Holland's friend, the fairy Skek, has been scarving off all day long, and Thaco saw fit to come and try and grass on him. Thankfully, Holland had dropped him off at the snail racing where he's supposed to be working, where he does resume his work. So Thaco is thwarted when he tries to prove that Skek was hiding in Holland's scarf. Thaco leaves angrily, goes back to the feasting orchard where he's been looking after while Flopsy is on his day off. You went to the feasting orchard and saw that, Oswald and Thaco had a bit of a altercation, and Oswald put Thaco to sleep. Mr. Light thought that was hilarious and carried him off. Flopsy looked around for some people to take over the feasting orchard in the meantime and employed the orchard boys, particularly the cherry pie boys, to do the job. And then you all sat down for a big, long conversation about chickens, about what you might wear to a party, etc., etc., and then heard voices and things coming from around the surrounding area. You looked around, you didn't really find much, until you went to the Dragonfly rides, where you got your ticket stamped by Northwind, but then you saw that one of the Dragonflies was getting spooked and spotted in the bushes, that Kenku pest, who's hiding and disrupting things in the carnival. You grabbed a hold of her and got it out of her that she was causing havoc because Witch and Light have been ignoring her, as she is concerned about her archfey patron, Zybilna, who she revealed to you was somewhat of a fairy godmother to mortal children. And all of you remember either seeing or hearing about such a person, who is a tall, statuesque woman with long white hair and a chicken's foot tattoo on her cheek. You do agree that you'll keep your end of the bargain, which is to try and convince Mr. Witch and Mr. Light to actually acknowledge the issues that are going on at the Witchlight Carnival and acknowledge the fact that Kettle Steam, which is her the Kenku's name, is concerned, and she thinks that they know something about what happened to Zybilna, who is also an archfey of a Feywild domain called Prismere. Before you could sort of restrain her or anything like that, she does end up throwing a little twilight sleep smoke screen at you, but you all resisted the con save, and it did not successfully put you to sleep, but it did obscure your vision long enough for her to escape. Now, there's a bit of a conundrum happening here, as all four of you sort of gathered around discussing what to do about this, and that is where we left off. Over to you.
So there's a bit of a conundrum here. Why don't we discuss what to do about this?
I think we're too late. She's already gone.
No, but I mean, you all... Well, I mean... you didn't really seem to want to help her. But I do, so that's the conundrum.
Well, I feel as though if we're helping her, we're also helping the detriment of the carnival. I mean, she was going around trying to spread misjoy to everybody. I don't really want to be a part of that.
Well, no, she just said that she was trying to get the attention of Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. And she said that she's going to stop for a while. That is if we keep our end of the bargain. If we don't, it's going to spread misjoy again.
I suppose you have a good point. Is there a better way of getting the attention of Mr. Witch and Mr. Light without provoking them in a negative way?
Well, I don't
We
know.
could just talk to them.
Well, Holland, you as well as I know how much they like talking about things like this. Is there a way to broach it lightly with them, or do we just go in guns a-blazing and confront them?
Well, I don't know what a gun is, but it certainly sounds, a bit... Well, maybe we should think it through and think what we are going to say.
I would like to avoid a bit of violence.
Right. Oswald's like a pacifist, I think.
I don't think
Glares at
anything.
Aelar.
I don't think anything bad's gonna happen to it. I mean, I know they can be a bit scary at first, but they're really nice. I don't think they're trying to hurt it. She just said it was, they were ignoring her.
Come to
Well,
think
yes.
of it, you're ignoring her too, Flopsy. You've been
Well,
ignoring things all day.
I wouldn't say I've been ignoring things. I tend to like to focus on the positive, the things that make me smile, and I don't
Right.
think focusing on good things means I'm ignoring the bad things.
But also,
Really?
well, I think Mr. Witch and Mr. Light are like that. They want to focus on all the joy and all the happiness, but when someone's hurt and someone's upset, sweep it under the rug and let's carry on with the joy, even if that person's crying. It
No,
sounds-
Mr.
Well-
Witch loves making people cry.
Well,
Oh.
I wouldn't
Not me,
quite
though.
agree with that, Holland.
Not me. I've never. No.
Well, at any rate, it certainly sounds like this Zabilna's in a bit of a pickle. Maybe we should help her.
Suppose you do make a very strong argument there, to be fair. Whenever someone's feeling sad, I do try and push the happiness, and not so much sweep it under the rug, but, I don't know, laughter can be a bit of a bandage at some points to put over the sadness. Maybe it is best to confront it head on. Shall we go to Mr. Witch and Mr. Light now and confront it head on, so to speak?
Well, we are already at the Dragonfly rides.
Flopsy, kind of smirks immediately and starts, tapping his foot quite lightly. So, you think we should go on the rides first instead?
Maybe we can Dragonfly ride over to Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. What do you think, Marielle? Marielle looks distracted, like she's got better things to do than listen to this.
Oswald looks concerned.
Are you okay, Oswald?
I don't fancy any more rides.
Oh, that's right. Oswald has a fear of heights. That's
Oh, well,
okay.
It's
We
not
don't
a
have to.
fear. It's not a fear.
He has a hate of heights. He doesn't
Yes.
like them. He despises them.
Yes.
Well, it's the perfect time of night to see the entire carnival from up on high. If you don't quite like the height, maybe one of us can ride the dragonfly with you and hold your hand.
Oh, you can jump on mine. Dragonfly, I mean, not my hand. That would
Oh.
hurt.
You feel the ground rumble somewhat, and you turn around, and Northwind has sort of bent his knees and pulled his legs out of the ground like these huge roots, and has extended sort of like 3 times the size of his normal sort of rooted height, and he's waded through the pool towards the scared dragonfly, and he's just softly sort of stroking its back as it's plonked down on a lily pad, and its eyes are sort of like shimmering around quite nervously, but the other dragonflies are still in operation.
Well, if Holland and Flopsy want to go on the dragonfly rides, I could walk with you, Oswald, and Marielle. Well, I think Marielle wants to go on the dragonfly rides. So maybe she can go with Holland. Or Flopsy.
Well, we can make sure that Marielle is having a safe and fun time, but I wouldn't want Oswald to miss out on such a unique experience as the dragonfly rides just because of a little niggly fear. Are you sure there's nothing that could persuade you to come with us, Oswald?
Every time I go on a ride, something bad always happens.
Really? Like what?
I don't know, I get scared. Fine, I'll go on. But if something bad happens, you're all over me.
And he points at Flopsy and Aelar.
Well, I wouldn't want to force you to go on. I just think it's a great opportunity for fun. So I will actually take that bet. If you don't have fun on the dragonfly rides, I will make it up to you somehow.
Oswald nods his head.
Flopsy will happily bound over to the queue for the dragonfly rides.
You wanna jump on my dragonfly, Oswald?
I would rather have my own.
Well, okay.
So as you're queuing up for the dragonfly rides, obviously Red's sort of hopping around and sorting everybody out and getting everybody strapped in and things as Northwind calms down the spooked dragonfly. And sailing into the pond, you see Featherine with a couple of new passengers on her back. She looks around quite suspiciously and comes sort of paddling over to you.
Featherine!
This is Featherine the Swan, the Swandler. She's a gondola swan. And she comes over and she goes, "Oh, what's happening here?"
What do you mean?
She's asking you guys. She sort of leans her head in as if she's listening to some gossip.
Aelar looks to the others, for permission to talk about Kelstein.
Well, it seems as if one of the dragonflies has just had a little bit of a spook. Northwind seems to be dealing with it. I think everything's back to normal now.
Oh, that is unfortunate, isn't it? And she looks concerned over at the dragonfly. And then she sails off, wiggling a little swan tail as she goes.
Bye-bye, Featherine.
She turns around, blinks a long eyelash at you. Goodbye. And makes her way down the river. Red comes over, and his little squirrel nose is just twitching around as he's very vigilant about making sure everything is okay now that has happened. And yes, you may mount a dragonfly. So a huge green and blue dragonfly settles down on a lily pad in front of you. This is 1 dragonfly per person, I do believe.
That includes chicken.
So you will be riding your very own dragonfly. Yeah, Red looks at Marielle and looks at you quite concerned, and then puts his little paws up in her hands, like crossing over each other way, and shakes his head.
What's the matter?
You get the impression that it will not be safe for Marielle to ride a dragonfly by herself.
Oh, I guess you can sit on my knee.
Red sort of cocks his head side to side, but then eventually nods. And yeah, he straps you all in one at a time to a dragonfly. They all have little saddles on them. And if you would like to fly... Well, sorry, not if you would like to. You're going to make animal handling checks to see how well you can steer these dragonflies.
Oh, so you're all prepared. So I'm not opening my character sheet yet. Right. Let's get this animal handling with a -1.
Goodness gracious me.
Let's say 11.
So, each one begins to take off, but all of them are still quite concerned about the one that's been spooked. Holland, yours sort of like kicks up into the air a little bit too fast, and you have to like lean down and hold on to the reins a little bit harder than usual. And you figure when you pull, it's just not listening to you at all. Flopsy, you come up, and as it rears back a little, you move with it as though like riding one of those like mechanical bulls. And you're like, whoa, and you manage to hold it and pull the reins in 2 hands and sort of keep it tight towards you. Oswald and Aelar, yours start sort of rocking side to side a little bit, and you can't really keep control of them. But nonetheless, they just zoom, zoom, start flying up into the air. Some quite erratic. Flopsy, you're the one who's got the handle on your dragonfly, but the other 2... You can't quite tell exactly what they're gonna do. Oswald,
communicate with each other.
Oh yeah, you're still right next to each other right now.
Right.
You're still in the station area. If you want to say,
I don't like this. I don't like this wiggling.
Oswald, the trick that I found is treat it with respect and just give it a little stroke on the side and try humming something really calming to it, you know?
Maybe I could sing them a song.
Well, that sounds like a perfect idea.
If this'll work.
Dragonfly through the sky, up so high, you're a dragonfly.
Oswald frowns.
Midway through your singing Aelar, zoom, your dragonfly just takes off, whoa, launching you all around the carnival. You see it fly up and over the carousel, like, ah! It's going a bit too high there, and then it swoops back down, narrowly, like its wings beating against the top bit of the tent of the big top. Make another animal handling check.
I'll just be screaming the song while I do this. 16.
And as it rounds over the bubble pop teapot, you sort of steer it into one of the bubbles as it comes, like, ah, poof. As you crash into one, it sort of blinks a little bit and like sort of wiggles the bits of soap off its face, and then you feel as though it's settled suddenly, and you have control of it now. Oswald, upon seeing Aelar's dragonfly fly away, yours follows suit. And it flies around everywhere. Give us another animal handling check. See if you can control it. Nice, yes, you get it. Yes, you follow the same as Aelar, and you get next to Aelar. And Flopsy,
I was just mumbling the song.
You have full control anyway, but Holland, yours has started to fly up and go erratic. You don't know where it's going to go. Straight out of the straight out of the front gates. It's going rogue, Holland.
Well, that's no good.
What are you clicking, Declan?
Sorry.
Yeah, you duck down, Holland, and your ears just sort of go flat as it goes whoosh underneath the front gates. The crowd's parting as you come down. Make another animal handling check. Nice! Oh, that's lucky. You get a hold of it and you like pull it up like it's breaking and turn it around like it's a plane banking, like woof, and then you fly over, because it's a safer way, over the gates. And Flopsy, you may follow suit. Marielle's with Aelar, by the way. And yeah, Flopsy, you can follow suit however you like. But you're all sort of round about here. And you all meet together.
Flopsy's kind of going and like...
That's also, I guess my song worked.
Well, I think everybody managed to get a good handle on theirs. Oswald, I must say you actually impressed me.
Oswald
Very
refuses
impressive.
to speak.
Hmm.
He
Well, you
doesn't
don't
look
seem
at
to be
anyone.
smirking. Is what, sorry?
He looks over and he just says,
That was too fast.
I agree with that, actually. It was very fast.
All the dragonflies
Oh.
seem to have recognised that you're not trying to spook them and that you are actually quite good at controlling them. And they've all calmed down.
They've slowed down now, though. This is a nice, gentle, relaxing dragonfly pace.
Well, now that we're going at a much more comfortable speed, just think about what you'd like to see from the carnival and try and steer it gently towards there. I'm sure now we're free to have as much fun as we can with these, and it doesn't have to be scary like it was, Oswald. Maybe you could try singing Aelar's song, and you'll have a bit more control.
Remember how it goes, Oswald? Dragonfly through the sky, up so high, you're a dragonfly.
Please stop. that song. Oh,
It'd probably
God.
sound better if it wasn't a cappella.
You both owe me one.
and he points two fingers again at Aelar and Flopsy.
What was Oswald?
As soon as you lift like your hand up to sort of like point at those two, you feel like the dragonfly like dips down just a little bit, and then you just whoa, like steady yourself. But you do have it, and as soon as you take the hold of the reins again, you feel like the dragonfly sort of gives like a strange like purr of affection, like it likes the fact that you know what you're doing now. It feels comfortable as with you as its rider, Oswald.
I think it likes you.
Doesn't like me, it's just using me to scratch itself.
What do you say, Oswald? Oswald dimple cheeks.
Oswald. Full stop.
Is that your last name? Full stop?
And Oswald just turns the other direction.
Well, where should we all go? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oswald Aelar says as she does a loop-de-loop.
Oh, well, I don't really think it matters where you go, as long as you just enjoy the time that you have. So, you've actually got the right idea there. And Flopsy goes ahead and starts doing, like, corkscrews with the dragonfly around this area.
Do we have to keep these?
You see a few kids looking up at Aelar and Flopsy going, "Mummy, look! Mummy, look!" And they're seeing the tricks that you're doing in the air. And you look down, and their faces are just so like bright in the darkness, lit by these fairy lights. They're very, very enthusiastic about your moves.
I'm gonna sing to them while I do it. Dragonfly, up so... Wait, in the sky, up so high, you're a dragonfly.
Dragonfly in the sky, up so high, you're a dragonfly. Yay!
Yay!
They all love that. They're all screaming and whooping for you.
Yeah, Aelar loves it.
Flopsy's going to fly by Holland and ask, Holland, how are you finding it? You seem to go off a bit at the start there.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on one of these. I think I'm getting the hang of it, though.
Well, you seem to be quite a natural at it now. See if you can do some of this. And he does a loop-the-loop over the big top here. And then comes swinging back round.
Holland,
That looks fun.
Holland, do you feel confident that you could pull this off, as it's not creative because you are copying Flopsy?
Well, Aelar.
Sorry, Aelar.
I will attempt it.
Yeah, you can do that with that animal handling check that you've already got there.
Oh, good.
You nervously rise up and you feel like the familiar sensation of tilting backwards, as you would do if you were on like swings or if you were flipping around on the carousel. You close your eyes as you reach the zenith and swoop back down again and open your eyes, and you're still sat on it.
Was that close? I feel like that was quite close.
That was perfect! And Flopsy claps his hands and then quickly stops to grab the reins again.
Yeah, you see that people who are just entering under people who are late arrivals entering under the entrance there are already in awe of you, Holland. You must be a professional in some way.
Well, this certainly feels cool.
You want to try a loop-de-loop, Oswald?
If somebody else flies, I don't want to do it on my own.
You want to do a loop-de-loop together?
I will trust you to do a, what you call, loop of the loop.
Loop-de-loop.
Yes, with me. But I will not perform one myself as a rider.
Well, why don't I do a loop-de-loop around you then?
Do I have a choice in this matter?
Nope. And Ella does a loop-de-loop around Oswald. Muriel jumps down and lands on Oswald's head.
Yeah, so like you start off facing Oswald, you zoom underneath him, and you look up, and obviously you can see as you are coming up the rise of it, you tilt your head back so you can keep your eyes on Oswald the whole time, and as you reach the zenith, Muriel plops down on top of Oswald, and you swing down and face him again.
Oopsie daisy.
Oswald just shakes until the chicken gets off him.
Muriel expertly jumps onto Aelar's head.
Get the chicken off of me.
I'm sorry. Hey, listen, this chicken has a mind of her own.
That chicken is a nuisance.
Well, say that to her face. I'm only kidding, Oswald. Muriel can't understand English. I mean, common.
Mm.
She only speaks
Oswald
Elvish.
just grunts.
Alright.
Flopsy's going to send a quick message to Winston as he's flying around the carousel area. Winston, quick, hold a batch up in the air for me.
What of?
Anything. It's a selection of the best cupcakes that you have right now. I've got an idea for a promotion.
Okie dokie. He takes like a silver platter from beneath his stall, puts a good selection of vegan cupcakes and normal cupcakes on there. He grabs a couple of slices of cherry pie from the Cherry Pie Boys and holds it aloft.
Flopsy's going to try and fly low enough without being a danger and scoop the platter up as he goes by Winston.
Okay, that's going to be a base dex check.
Base dex, okay. 12.
You swoop down, and he lifts it tall above, and you manage to get your paw underneath the tray. You grab hold of it with your thumb, because you do have opposable thumbs as a Harengon. You do grab hold of it. You haven't got your hand directly underneath it as though it's a serving platter. It's like holding onto the side, and as you lift it up, a couple of cupcakes and the one cherry pie falls off and splats on the ground. But you've got like 5 cupcakes and 1 cherry pie on the platter.
Whoopsie, thank you! As he takes it back up into the air and starts flying back round this way towards the entrance. Some of the latecomers that are coming into the booth, he's gonna kind of raise his hand into the air as if to say, like, get your hands up, and start throwing cupcakes to the newcomers. Come on down to the feasting orchard for more! And then as he flies past Holland, he's gonna just slip a cupcake onto Holland as well.
Alright, give us a sleight of hand to chuck these into the people's hands.
Just throw them on people's faces.
This is literally, it's gonna rain cupcakes at the front.
Hey, nice, yeah. Yeah, so you just start like swooping down low, and it's like to them it's almost like this magical Harengon comes flying down on a dragonfly and just like slow motion hands them cupcakes each. They're all like, whoa. And as soon as they have them in their hand, they look down as though it's the most magical thing they've ever seen. They stop peeling the little wrappers off and just put it in their mouth and have a tiny little bite and look at each other, and suddenly these huge smiles appear on their faces, just like, wow! And they all start munching down on them. The person who's got the cherry pie has just got like a pie, like a triangle of pie with all the goopy cherry sort of falling out onto their hands. They just stuff it immediately in their mouth. It's like a half orc that's just like, and all of the juice sort of like splatters all the way around the mouth and teeth. But they look really pleased.
Flopsy's gonna drop like a little handkerchief down, and it's gonna flutter in the breeze down to the half orc, so he can wipe his face off afterwards.
He catches it out of the air and slides it across his mouth and looks up at you and gives you a thumbs up.
Flopsy doffs his top hat and then flies off around, continuing his figure of 8 around the carnival again.
Alright. Okay. What do you want to do now?
Well, guys, should we go to see Mr. Witch and Mr. Light?
I think that would be best. I don't like all this hiding stuff. It doesn't make me feel good.
And I don't think Oswald likes all this hiding stuff.
Let me high up now.
Well, you know what? You may not be a dragonfly, but you're a perfect gnome halfling. Aelar swoops down to the staff area.
Okay.
Even she knows what she said was awkward.
Yeah, as you approach the sort of thorny, walled-off area of the staff area, you see that the thorns begin to climb as you approach with the dragonfly. You know that you can't just fly straight into this area.
Well, we'll have to get off here. Do you know your way home, dragonflies?
The dragonfly is just buzzing indiscriminately.
Just through the sky, up so high. Come on, you already know this. You're a dragonfly.
The dragonfly plops down and you're able to get off safely. And yeah, it flutters off into the sky and makes its way back to the station.
Now I'll just wait here for the rest of my friends.
Flopsy will come and try and do like a loop-the-loop landing with the dragonfly and like hop off contently, and then pat it on the head before it flies off again.
Nice. Yeah, it's gives a little shake and flies away.
Hey, Flopsy, let's just wait for Holland and Oswald.
I think Oswald might secretly be having more fun than he's letting on, because I don't think he wants to get off of the dragonfly.
Oswald,
maybe he's just scared.
Oswald, is there anything you'd like to do on the dragonfly before you drop off?
He's kind of sad that these animals are being just used to fly around, and he's just giving it a quick pat.
You hear it again buzzing like brrr. It really does like you.
And it just gets off.
Goodbye, my dragonfly.
As you sort of like stroke it and say goodbye to it, you see that its eyes are sort of like looking into your eyes somehow, even though they've got these big sort of like checkered looking eyes.
Ball eyes.
It's almost like it's looking into your soul and you're looking into its soul for a brief moment, and then it just zoom, picks up into the air and flies back.
Don't worry, he'll be back tomorrow.
I'm not too bothered, to be honest. Just a dragonfly.
If you say so, Oswald.
And Holland, is there anything you'd like to do on the dragonfly before you alight?
Oh yes. Yeah, Holland's feeling a bit antsy from everything, and this is such a bad idea, but he's gonna try and get close to the ground and then just jump off. You know, like when you're on a swing and you let it go really high and leap off.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Literally like that.
Alright, okay. Roll an acrobatics check to see how well you perform this feat of acrobatics.
With your acrobatic feet.
20.
Ooh, nice. Well, yeah, describe how you do that.
He sends it literally into like a nosedive. Not like an aggressive one, but like, he sends it swooping down, and as it begins to like incline again, he's just gonna jump off the front and flip and then land with like a bow.
Aelar
Nice.
claps. Well done, Holland. You must be like half dragonfly.
Oh, do you reckon? That would be really cool.
Yeah, your dragonfly, as it flies away, sort of like does its own loop-de-loops in the air as it's also got excited and flies back off.
Well, let's go talk to Mr. Witch and Mr. Light, and hopefully that Wacko guy, she says, sort of winking to Holland, isn't here.
It's tough. It's how I feel every day of the week, let me tell you.
Okay, so you approach the wall of thorns, Aelar, and obviously it remains closed.
Flopsy, Holland, maybe you could go in first?
You see around the corner near the river there, Featherine is holding up about 3 or 4 other gondola swans as she chats to Burley. Burley sort of sits with his legs crossed on the side of the riverbank. He has taken off his jack-o'-lantern helmet, and you can see his full face. He's a bugbear. He's got quite a monstrous face, but but when you look at it, it looks really sad, quite despondent. He looks like he's having quite a deep and meaningful conversation with Featherine. Every now and then, Featherine sort of turns around to the swans behind her, and she's like, "Oh, do be quiet." And then she'll go back to Burley and talk to him with more hushed tones. The riders on the back of her are sort of getting a little bit impatient.
Well, I'd like to sort of walk on over and see what's going on.
Burley, as he sees you coming, he glances over to you, and then he takes a big hand to his face and just wipes his eyes. And he stands up all of a sudden, so serious, and nods at Featherine. Featherine sort of gives a big swan-like bow, and sails away. And all the rest of the swans, as they go past, are like, "Thank God for that. Jeez Louise, who does she think she is? Oh, bloody heck," as they all go along. Burley's like, "Hello?
You okay?
Yes?
It's okay if you're not.
I know that."
Okay.
He puts his jack-o'-lantern helmet back on, and it obscures his eyes. You can see his mouth sort of like lips trembling underneath. Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, we just wanted to go and talk to Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. But I was wondering if you're okay. Because you seemed a bit upset. And I wondered if you needed anyone to talk to.
No, I'm fine. And he comes plodding over.
Okay.
You can clearly see that he's not. But he'd rather just ignore it.
Well, I respect his choices.
Do you have an appointment?
I'll look to Flopsy. Flopsy, do I have an appointment?
Unfortunately not, no, but... Burley, we don't have an appointment, but it is a rather pressing matter. We won't try to take too much of Mr. Witch and Mr. Light's time, but if you could let us through to them, I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
I think they might be busy at the moment, preparing for the crowning of the Witchlight monarch.
Maybe it's going to be you.
I don't think so. I can't win when I'm working.
Maybe one day.
He sort of like stumbles over to the staff area entrance, and he looks over a bit confused at Flopsy, and he says, "You can enter any time. Why do you need me?"
Oh, I just wanted you to know that Aelar and Oswald were here with me, and you didn't look upon them with any suspicion or anything like that.
No, I wouldn't anyway. You're not up to anything, I don't think.
Of course not. Look at us. Well,
Oswald coughs.
No, not your guests either. Bad things have been happening here for a while, as you know.
What sort of bad things?
He sort of like breathes in a little bit, sort of like as though to breathe back a cry. You know, just people and other things going missing.
I've heard. Apparently, Derlegron lost a child, and, well, Everyone's been, having a bit of it around this carnival, so I hear. Have you lost anything? Aelar says, knowing full well that Feathering has told her.
Roll a charisma save.
Well, could I roll a persuasion? Because I'm sort of trying to...
Well, yeah, you're not being deceptive, but he's rolling insight on you, basically, is what I'm saying here. So, charisma save against his insight check, unless you want it to be obvious.
14.
He sort of tilts his head a little. And he sighs. I guess she's told you then, hasn't she?
Yeah.
He looks over at Flopsy and Holland, and he says, "Do you mind coming with me a second? I want to talk to you two separately a minute." And he's about to start crying.
Oh,
Of course.
yes. Sure, yes.
He immediately ducks into the vines as they open up like, and you two duck in there if you want to. They close behind quite suddenly and leave Oswald and Aelar behind. He stands in the sort of central area of the staff area, and he turns around, takes his helmet off, and he just says, I don't know what to do anymore. And he just starts blubbing and crying, and massive tears just come rolling down his cheeks. My brother.
Oh, Burley, and Flopsy just goes to give him a hug straight away.
Aelar and Oswald may roll perception checks to see if they can overhear anything outside. If they are trying to hear, if you're being respectful and moving far enough away not to hear, then that's your choice.
Aelar's just going to do a dance. Just start busking.
Oswald's listening.
Yeah, Oswald, you stand sort of close to the hedge, the vine hedge. You can hear anything over a whisper. And Burley is not whispering. So anyway, Flopsy.
Just a history thing. How long has Burley's brother been missing? Again,
Ooh.
it's a couple of days, isn't it? Or
Yeah, it hasn't been very... Let me just have a look there. Diddle-a-diddle-doo. Excuse me. Yeah, it's only been a couple of days.
So Flopsy's going to use his paw to kind of stroke the back of Burley while giving him a hug. Just being like, well, he might be on a bit of an adventure of his own, but it's not been that long. I'm sure he'll show up someday soon. Maybe even tonight, you never know.
As soon as you touch him, he just like falls onto your shoulders and hugs you really like tremendously tight. It's like almost squeezing your air out of you.
Flopsy's legs are like bowing a little bit under Burley's weight, and he's just trying to he's leaning at an angle now, trying to hold Burley up.
I knew he never really fit in, but I just hope he's okay.
He was big and strong, just like you. I know that he'll be okay.
Yeah. He just
Flopsy
continues.
kind of makes eyes at Holland and stares at Holland like, help.
Oh, Burley, I promise you we're doing everything we can to help find him. Me and Skek were out this morning looking for him. I'm sure he's not gone far. I've been on adventures longer than this, and look at me, I'm fine.
You think?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. He wipes his eyes and sort of steels himself a little bit, and he says, "You can let your friends in now. I'm going to stop crying, okay? Alright. Yeah. Okay.
It's good to let it all out, but I'm glad if you've got it out of your system, we can give you a few more minutes before we let Oswald and Aelar in.
Well, before you do, don't you think Witch and Light know something about all this? They must do.
Well, I'd like to say that it's pure coincidence with your brother going missing and Star as well. It seems that maybe there is something going on, but we can't say whether Witch and Light would know anything. Truth be told, it's one of the reasons why we're here.
Featherine did say something about that. She said that she's never met anyone like, well, you two and your guests that might be able to set things right around here. I think we need to come up with a plan. Let them in and we'll discuss it.
Okay, Flopsy pats Burley on the back a little bit, and then turns around to the vines again to open them up.
Yeah, as soon as you approach, you sort of stick your paw out and whoosh, they open up. Oswald's just sort of standing right next to the the vines.
Oh, hello, Oswald. You're quite eager to come in.
Oh yes, I was just about to come in then, and you open the door at the same time.
You see Aelar dancing in the background, sort of far away.
I'll message Aelar. We're ready for you now. But you are dancing very well, may I say. You don't need to stop.
Let me just do my big finish. Dragonfly! She sort of flaps her wings, her arms, like wings, and then jumps off and runs back to you.
Flopsy claps you as you walk through the precipice of the staff area.
Burley no longer looks like he's crying, but he has put his jack-o'-lantern helmet back on. And he says, "Do you want to come to my caravan?" I just want to speak to everyone before you speak to them.
Okay then.
He like bolts forward, not bolts, like booms with his feet, like doof doof, forwards to his caravan. He walks in there and there's a couple of just random Witchlight hands lying around on bunks, and he looks at them and he says, "Excuse me, fellas, ladies, in-betweenies, just can I have this alone for a minute?" And they all sort of like sit up and they go, "Oh, bloody hell. Okay, fine." They leave and walk past you as you enter the caravan. You see that in there are two large beds, what you presume would be for Burley and Hurley. They are bunk beds, one on top of the other, and the bottom bunk is pristine, unmade, completely made, and there's just a little teddy bear lying on it. Burley sort of glances at it and sniffs, and he invites you all inside.
Aelar knocks as she enters.
As does Flopsy very lightly.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that Mr. Witch and Mr. Light are bad bosses. he looks at Flopsy and Holland with a bit of like concern in his eyes, as though he doesn't want you to judge him for what he's about to say.
Certainly not, yes. And Flopsy nods along as he says it.
They've always got the interest of joy in their... It's their minds are set on it. But we need to get them to talk about what's happening, because they are pretending that nothing's happening. And this might sound crazy, but we need some leverage. It's gone on long enough.
Leverage? What do you mean by leverage? That sounds less of a conversation and more of a... Well, I wouldn't really want to put a word to it.
What I'm about to suggest might cost me my job and my home here, and possibly you and Holland's, but I think the only way would be to, well, take something of theirs.
Flopsy immediately looks to Holland to see Holland's reaction.
Holland's like, sort of, his dropped open in disbelief.
Flopsy's eyes are just wide as like they can possibly go.
So, take something. Like what?
We'd give it back when they tell us what's going on.
I appreciate your frustration, but I don't think you're thinking of the long term. I mean, if they, even if it did work, and they had something to tell us, which I think is unlikely, then what after that? They immediately don't trust any of us.
Well, you can get one of your guests to do it. He looks at Oswald and Aelar.
No. Oswald immediately is hesitant.
Well, we know as better than anyone that Mr. Witch's watch is the most important artifact to him ever, and it's only attached to his waistcoat. He probably wouldn't notice someone so short reaching for it.
No. You know as well as I do, Burley, that Mr. Witch runs the entire carnival off of that watch. Just taking it from them to make a point would throw the entire carnival into disarray. You're not talking about taking some mere object from them, you're talking about taking the entire carnival.
Oh, I don't know about you two. He looks at Flopsy, but he looks a little bit more at Holland. But I've been in their caravan crying about my missing brother, and they still won't speak about him. It's as if he's just never existed.
Well, I'm sure they could do with, updating the grieving policy, but I don't think that necessarily means that they've got something to do with his disappearance. What would they have to gain from that? I mean, Hurley was so useful. He was so friendly and wonderful.
Grieving policy? Do you think something terrible has happened to him?
No, of course not.
I mean, Holland did use past tense then.
What did you say, Oswald?
I mean, Holland did use past tense then.
Oswald. Now that's not very nice.
I just spoke the truth.
You wouldn't like it if you had someone who went missing.
This is what I mean.
I would.
You're pretending he's not even... like, you're acting like he's dead.
Well,
No.
he can't be dead. That's impossible.
Oswald nudges Aelar and says,
Don't give the poor guy false hope.
False hope? There's nothing false about it, Oswald. And I think you, better than anyone else, should know that. All hope is real hope. And sometimes hopes don't work out. But it's always real hope. Now, let's think. Gosh, I don't know what I'd do if I ever lost a sibling and people acted like they weren't there. I think that'd be one of the most heartbreaking things. So think about that, Oswald. Before you speak, you must learn to open your thoughts before your mouth. And I'm sorry to tell you off like that, Oswald, but I just have to in this particular instance.
This is absurd.
Haven't you ever had a sibling, Oswald?
No?
Well, then you wouldn't know what it feels like to lose one. And what about you two? Flopsy and Holland?
Well, I can't begin to imagine what it must be like for you to have lost Hurley, but... Well, yes, I simply can't imagine.
And you? He looks at Aelar.
Well, I've had friends, like Marielle, Chicken, but I don't think I've ever had any siblings, no.
Holland?
Come on, Burley, that's not very nice. You know I've lost everyone.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. I know what it feels like.
I'm just trying to make you understand how I feel.
Aelar pulls Holland and Burley in for a group hug.
It's gonna be okay. Look, I don't like the idea of stealing from them, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this one way or another. We're gonna find Hurley and Star, and we're gonna get everyone back, and that's a promise.
What kind of plan have you got then?
Oh well, I'm gonna talk to them.
Fat lot of good that will do.
Exactly, a fat lot of good. Heaping amounts of good. And good is what we need right now, Burley.
Make a persuasion check. Aelar do it with advantage because of Holland's helping.
Better than a 3.
Oh, I don't know about this. I think it needs to be something more extreme.
Well, bad only attracts bad. That's what my mother used to say. Well, actually, she used to say, Aelar, do not do bad things, for when you bring bad into the world, bad comes in through the window, and the window gets bigger and bigger and starts creating cracks in the wall, and the wall will fall down, and then so will the roof, and then you'll be homeless, and where will you be then? You'll be sleeping on the rocks without a home, and everyone will think, foolish Aelar, letting bad in through the window and breaking down her house, and now she has to sleep on the floor, and that's all her fault because she let bad in through the window. It's all her fault.
Burley's just staring at you through the holes in his jack-o'-lantern.
So if we bring bad in through the window, maybe the carnival will fall. We don't want to bring in bad through the window.
Well... Okay.
I mean, if it comes to it, then we can consider it, but there's no reason we shouldn't talk to them first.
Well, you do what you think will help. And he just climbs up his stairs and to his top bunk and just like throws himself on his bed and just starts to sob into his pillow. You can leave now and just let me cry a bit more.
Aelar knocks on her way out.
Where are we going, guys?
Mr. Witch and Mr. Light.
Alright, so you exit the caravan. Flopsy?
Flopsy's going to go on ahead to Mr. Witch and Mr. Lights, kind of get to the front so he can knock on the door before Aelar does.
Well, Aelar sees this and she's going to race him. Can we roll like an athletics?
Yeah, of course. Both.
Right.
No, yeah, it would both be athletics.
Yeah, roll contested athletics. 18.
That's acrobatics, not athletics.
No, it's acrobatics.
Oh, whoopsie daisy.
I only rolled a 10, so the bar isn't high.
Oh, but you still beat
Oh!
So, because it's so close, Flopsy's first knock and then Aelar's second knock happen like nearly simultaneously. It's just like dunk, 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 and they kind of make a rhythmic thing with it out of it.
Yeah, we started playing percussion. We started playing it to the theme of the Dragonfly song.
You hear in the through the door. Who could that be? I don't know. Did they not know it's tea time? And then the door opens. You see Mr. Light's face covered in icing. Oh! Hello there.
Hello.
What
like
seems
anything?
to be the matter?
Well,
Wow.
we have rather a lot to talk about. I know we don't have an appointment, but I was wondering if we could come in and have a chat.
Well, you do know that it is time for tea. And that is
Tea time?
tea with me and my darling. You know better than this, Flopsy.
Oh, well, I really wouldn't want to impose. Is there a chance we could make an appointment for just after tea time?
Mr. Light looks into the room.
Well, maybe we could join tea with you and thee.
He's looking in. You can't see his face as he motions to Mr. Witch. He pokes his head back round the door again. And he goes, I suppose. Anything for my joyful little friends. And he steps back. And you walk in. And there's quite the sort of opulent spread of food laid out over a table. And you see Mr. Witch sort of sitting there politely with a napkin like in his shirt collar. He's got like a knife and fork in both hands as he cuts into one of the cupcakes from the feasting orchard. And he looks over at you and he says, is there some sort of problem?
Flopsy's gonna immediately check on the pocket watch on Mr. Witch's coat, see if it's hanging there.
You can't see it because the napkin is covering his entire front, all the way down to his sort of knees as he's sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Well, Flopsy?
Come in.
seems to be
Mr.
the
Light
immediate matter.
Mr. Light motions for everyone to get in so that you can close the door. Does everybody go in?
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Come in. Take a seat. He just like pats the bed for Holland. Oswald, he drags a chair up for you. It's quite a tall chair, as he's used to sitting it himself. And yeah, he lets you all sit down.
Aelar just sits on the floor, I guess.
Yeah, you all have a chair, but yeah.
Oswald climbs up his chair.
Plunks down. Flopsy.
Aelar sits reverse style on the chair, like turns it around and uses the backrest as a armrest.
Flopsy, you were saying?
Well, nothing seems to be the immediate matter, but we have had small matters found across the day that seem to be building up into bigger matters.
Flopsy. I hope you're not going to mention any of the forbidden topics.
Oh, no. I was trying to steer clear of those. You see, I've learned quite well that whenever somebody is frowning, we always try and turn that right upside down and focus on the happiness more than the sadness, but it seems like some people are having a bit of trouble doing that today.
Do tell. He looks quite serious at this.
Well, when did it start today? Guys?
Well, there was... Well, there's been a lot of things. People have been losing their children. Durla losing Star. Hurley losing his brother. Wait, Burley losing his brother. Hurley.
Mr. Light
Handel
looks hard.
losing his voice.
Mr. Light's looking hard at Aelar. As though waiting for her to say something she shouldn't. Yes. People go missing all the time. Not just here, but out there in the world.
Right,
I
but
think-
there's been a lot of people going missing here.
Not more frequently than they would outside.
Right. But think about it this way. Let's say I went missing at the Witchlight Carnival. I'd be really sad. And that means that's an unjoy at the Witchlight Carnival. Every person who goes missing at the Witchlight Carnival is sad. And everybody who loses someone at the Witchlight Carnival is sad. And yeah, maybe it happens all over the world, but that sadness happening in other places. I know you really like joy, but I think maybe losing people at the Witchlight Carnival is bringing down the joyometer.
Roll me a persuasion check.
This one's a good one. Fucking hell, 6. Can't get a break.
I appreciate your concern, but I think we've got it covered, don't you? And he looks at Mr. Witch. Mr. Witch sort of nods and nods his head towards the Witchlight Vein, which is the rod with the butterfly wings on the end of it. It's like a golden scepter. Mr. Light has been holding it in his left hand the entire time, and he goes, "Ah, yes. Now this tells me the mood of this carnival, and that has been positively vibrating with joy this whole time, thanks to all of you. Some of you in particular." He looks at Aelar and he looks at Flopsy. "It has fluctuated over the past hour or so. Perhaps this is something to do with your discussions."
Well, I think that's part of the thing. Think of it this way. All of the unjoy that Aelar's been speaking of, we have Durlagrown going around the carnival, and she's kind of an insurance policy for people who may be upset about losing things or losing people. And by the end of the night, they can all be reunited thanks to Durla. But people like Star and Hurley going missing, we don't really have a Durla grown in place for them. I think we could continue to bring more happiness to the carnival if we could bring at least a little reassurance to some more people.
And wouldn't that be ideal? What a shame, though, that there's nothing to be done. And he
Why not?
plops a cookie in his mouth. Starts chewing it.
Why is there nothing to be done?
He's got a mouth full of cookie, and he's just like, and he does a shrug whilst he's chewing.
I look at Mr. Witch.
Mr. Witch is just been staring at Mr. Light this whole time. He's starting to sweat from his top hat, and it's running down the side of his temple. He looks down at his food and starts to eat a little bit more.
I hope you don't think we're here to put you on the spot or anything like that. We simply want what you want. We want more joy in the carnival. We want to turn frowns upside down. We just want a way of doing that for certain people.
Mr. Light swallows. Well, if they are not here in the carnival, then what does it matter?
What if they are here in the carnival?
I don't see how that is my responsibility.
You don't?
Well, they can't be here, and Durla would have found them.
Well, if only they had someone looking out for them.
You see it, roll an insight.
Fucking hell, that's one. Unnatural one.
Aelar, you believe that Mr. Light is just so all consumed by his job here that he's just thinking about that. Holland, you can clearly see that he's trying not to speak about something. He is hiding something. You can see it plain as day on his face.
Okay.
So, what are the forbidden topics? Just so we know not to talk about them. Because obviously, Flopsy and Holland will know, but me and Oswald, well, we might accidentally talk about the forbidden topics, thinking they're bidden. But they're not.
Mr. Witch slowly turns to you, and he says, well, if you were to ever get onto the topics, I'm pretty sure that Flopsy and Holland would stop you in your tracks.
Oh, that has been happening. Yeah. I think maybe we've seen a few forbidden topics. Best not to speak of it, right?
That's correct. I'm glad you are on the same page. It's very important that we do not discuss these things.
Why?
He looks nervously at Mr. Light, who swallows again, and Mr. Light says, well, this is just irrelevant.
Well, I saw...
I don't like this conversation anymore. He looks at you, Aelar. You see his eyelids sort of, like, droop down a little bit as though he's squinting at you. I thought you were just like me. And perhaps I was wrong. Oh, Mr. Witch, I'm starting to feel incredibly, disappointed. Mr. Witch sort of looks at you guys and says, I think it might be right for you to let us finish our dinner in peace.
Well, that's very well, yes. Well, we'll continue to try and make things better out there. Sorry to have disturbed you. We'll leave now, right, guys?
I'm going. Aelar morosely rattles the door as she leaves.
As Aelar leaves, those looking at Mr. Light see that the scepter starts to dull a little bit. And Mr. Light looks at it with his eyes. He keeps it on the table beside him, holding on to it still. He glances down at it with his eyes, and you see, like, the corner of his mouth sort of, like, pull downwards, like a grimace. And then he looks out after where Aelar's just left. He looks at all the rest of you as if to wonder why he's still here.
Flopsy will leave and kind of mirror Aelar's knock-in, but do it a tiny bit more jauntier to try and inject a bit of life into the knock as he walks out.
Holland and Oswald? Well, does anyone want to do anything or say anything before they leave in particular?
Oswald just sighs.
Okay. Do you leave, Oswald?
Yeah.
Alright.
Oswald leaves.
Holland?
Holland lingers for just a second, as if he's debating saying something. Mr. I don't mean to pry, but earlier I heard you worrying about the bird person. I just wanted to let you know that we scared it away.
Mr. Witcher's head turns towards you and he gets up. He takes his oh my god, what's it called? Napkin from his collar, wipes his mouth, walks sort of affirmatively towards the door and closes it, closing you in. And he says, "So you heard that then, did you?"
I wasn't trying to. I've just, my ears, they hear things that other people can't sometimes.
I understand that, Flopsy. Holland. So, excuse me, you bunch of rabbits. I understand that, Holland. I can understand your concern for us as well. And if you cared about us, which I believe you do, as we do you. And Mr. Light sort of gulps his food and nods vigorously. You will know when to listen to us and when to understand that it is serious and detrimental to this carnival.
Of course, it was being mean to Palasha and I didn't like that.
No. We know what she's been getting up to.
She was, she was just really horrible, but I think she's gone now.
Did you speak to her? Mr. Light sort of puts his cupcake down and he says, yes. Did she say anything about her ridiculous mission?
A mission?
Of course.
No, I don't think so.
Her mission to spread misery around this carnival.
Oh, no, she was running. We just chased her away.
Roll a deception.
21.
1.
21.
Good. And I'm glad she's finally gone. And I hope that this, and he holds up the scepter, will be a bit brighter in the next few hours. Just in time to crown the monarch.
Oh, me as well. And I'm sorry to interrupt your tea time. I'll go now.
Come here, young Holland.
Oh, okay.
He holds his hand out, his right hand, for you to take his hand.
Holland does.
For as long as this carnival is here, you will always have a home. And
Thank you.
It brings you in for a hug.
Holland clings on tight, especially with all the talk of missing family and such. Holds on a bit tighter.
You feel the sort of hum of the scepter as it blooms a little. Ah. Now run along, child. And make sure. He puts his finger to his lips. Now let's not talk of those terrible things.
Okay. Goodbye.
Mr. Witch nods. You're a good boy, Holland. See you later.
When Holland slinks out to rejoin the group.
Alright. Okay. So you catch up to them. Burley's in his thing, so he's not actually out in the staff area. So the staff area is actually empty, save for a couple of Witchlight hands that are just sort of like walking in and out of their own caravans. And you catch up to the rest of them.
So, where to now, guys?
Well, if we want to put all of this negativity behind us, I think the main place we haven't gone to yet is the snail racing. We could check in with Skek and see how he's doing.
Oh yes, especially since he's stuck there now. Oh, that's a really good idea.
Sounds less scary as well.
At hearing you speaking, the door opens and Burley comes out. He's stopped crying now, and he's like, "Oh, well," he looks hopeful. He hasn't got the jack-o'-lantern on.
Nothing yet, but it was tea time. They didn't really want us to have like a proper discussion.
He just shrugs his shoulders down and turns around and walks back into his caravan.
Well, it didn't seem to go perfectly, but it could have gone a lot worse, right, guys? I mean, I think we've started a conversation, at least.
Yes, and we can always try again, you know, when we make an appointment, and then they'll be more open to a discussion.
Aelar, you seem to be a little deflated, if you don't mind me saying. Is there anything on your mind? Would snail racing cheer you up?
Mario, would snail race... What? Oh, that's a brilliant idea, Marielle. Come on, let's go see him at once. Aelar rushes off to see Candlefoot.
Candlefoot is you can actually hear Candlefoot before you arrive at the Hall of Illusions, and he's saying, roll up, ladies, gentlemen, and all in between. Check out the mystical, magical Hall of Illusions. Oh, hello there. I've seen you before.
I've seen you before, but I've never heard you before. What a powerful, booming voice you have.
Oh, it is magnificent. I could scream from the rooftops. And I would scream, Palasha, I love you.
Well, come on then. Aelar grabs his hands and, says, come on, let's go.
He digs his heels into the ground and is like, oh, not yet. I am rather embarrassed from my previous misfortune.
Oh. Well, what could cheer you up and unembarrass you?
Her forgiveness. But I suppose I would have to speak with her first.
And you can speak now.
I am oh so nervous.
Oh. Well, what if you hold Marielle? Marielle's got a very calming presence.
He, unknowingly sticks his hands out to hold her and, looks a bit confused and grabs hold.
Marielle sort of nestles into him and just sort of, she's very cozy and comfy to hold. A bit like a pillow.
Oh, what a wonderful chicken.
Why don't we go see Palasha?
Do you think it is wise?
I think it's more wise than not seeing her. I mean, you've seen her. She's so sad recently. I think she really loves you.
I mightily embarrassed her.
Well, I think the best thing to do in such a case... Well, do you love her?
Of course I do. I was going to ask for her hand in marriage.
And does she love you?
I'm not sure. I did mightily embarrass her. And
right, but
who's to say it won't happen again?
Well, if you love someone, you forgive them. And if what you've done's embarrassed her, then she'll forgive you. And if not, well, it's better to say that you at least tried.
Perhaps you're right.
I don't think you'll have to settle with contentment, though.
He stands up straight with Marielle in his hands, and a straight back, and chin up. I do believe it's time.
Aelar is getting so giddy from this.
Okay, let's do it. And you head off towards Palasha's goldfish bowl at the Silver Song Lake. And at this point, we will take a short 10-minute break. So bear with me. See you in 10 minutes. And we are back. Okay.
Hey guys.
Hi. So, Aelar was taking Candlefoot to Palasha the Mermaid, his, ex-girlfriend, I suppose, at this point. And let's have a look here. And as Candlefoot's walking quite confidently along, he does bump into the rest of the group, including Flopsy, and he goes, "Oh, hello, Flopsy. As you can see, I've got my voice back."
Flopsy's just kind of looking very happily, a bit wet-eyed. Candle, it's been so long since I've heard that from you. Heard anything from you. It's so good to hear you again, my friend. And he goes and gives him a hug.
I am so pleased.
Well, where are you going now? Are you leaving the Hall of Illusions?
Well, under your friend here's suggestion, I will... he steels himself a little bit with nerves.
You can do this.
I am going to try to speak to Palasha.
Oh, that's fantastic news. You must be a bundle of nerves. I see you're already holding Marielle. Is she helping you?
I don't know. Is this a lucky chicken?
Oh, well, she's a very lucky chicken.
She's a great emotional support chicken.
And she's certainly good looking.
Oh, she is that indeed. I wonder if she's any good at singing. Ah!
He just lets out a, ear-piercing squawk.
He moves his head away from her, with disgust. But not, only, fake disgust.
She's a better dancer.
Ah, I will believe it when I see it. Ha 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 ha.
And I will believe it when I hear it. Well, I don't even know where I was going with that one. But you've got your voice back.
I do indeed.
Now, I wonder how that happened. Maybe you have a fairy godmother looking out for you. Aelar turns to Flopsy and winks, a very, comically massive wink.
Flopsy wrinkles his nose back at Aelar.
Well, I suppose we better continue.
Let's do it.
Have you got a plan of what you're going to say to her?
I have no idea. I haven't spoken in such a while.
Well, you remember back in the days when you were on the edge of the Silver Song Lake and you'd always sing with her?
But of course. My favourite pastime and the reason why I fell in love with her.
Well, wouldn't it be just... I'm thinking of how it would look to everyone else as well, but also for you and for her. Wouldn't it just be beautiful if that's the first thing she heard from you again?
What an excellent suggestion. Oh, Flopsy. He lays his hand out to shake you whilst holding Marielle in his left arm.
Flopsy's fumbling in his jacket and then takes a break from that to shake his hand again. Well, if you'd permit me, I know I kind of third wheeled a few times, but I think I could maybe help the situation, and Marielle can show off her dancing skills.
And I can show off mine and play the flute. Huh? See, 2 for the price of 1.
I would expect nothing less. He looks full of joy as he's filled with more confidence now as well, as he walks on.
Flopsy links his arm with Candlefoot's as if they're going to walk the yellow brick road to the Silver Song Lake.
Ella joins on with Flopsy. And then puts her arm out for Oswald. Or Holland.
Oswald just follows, but rolls his eyes.
Does Holland link arms?
Holland will stay back with Oswald, so he's not on his own.
They can be taught.
Alright. As these four go all skipping off up in this direction, are you speaking to each other as you walk, Holland and Oswald?
Oswald's not in the best mood, so he'll probably just only speak if spoken to.
Well, I know maybe you didn't have the most fun on the dragon rides, but I hope the day's been okay for you.
Be a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
Oh, well, I am sorry to hear that. Would you... Oh, I feel like it's my job to make you feel better, but I suppose I'm not working today. I could offer you this, and he pulls out the Witchlight wine. Would you like to take this? I know it's not much, but it'll make anything feel better, right? That's what Flopsy says. I'm kidding. He doesn't say that.
I don't really drink wine, but well, I guess I'll have a glass.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, maybe when we're all celebrating with Candlefoot, we can open it up for everyone.
That sounds good. Maybe it'll make me forget about this bad day. About the scariness.
Yes, I was quite scared as well back on the mine, I have to say.
Well, thank you.
At mentioning that, your thoughts and memories of that, the mystery man come flooding back Holland, as you were one of the people who were the most frightened of what they saw. Oswald, it's visible on Holland's face that he was very affected by that ride. He was very frightened. Do you just keep walking?
Yeah, I'll just keep walking.
Brilliant. Alright, so...
As Flopsy, Aelar, and Candlefoot go past the Calliope at any point during their walking over to the Palasha, Flopsy's going to try and join in with the rhythm that the Calliope's given out and start skipping while singing, "We're off to see Palasha!"
The wonderful Palasha of Silver Song Lake.
Yeah, Ernest sort of like smiles and he's like, "Woo, woo, ah, ah," and he just spins it even faster, like. And yeah, the Marigold's dancing around in a little ladybug outfit, and she comes up with the cup and she's like, I've already got you!" And she dances back around and holds the cup out to other people. And yeah, you continue up to the Silver Song Lake. I'm just gonna pop you over there.
Your big moment now, Candlefoot.
Are you guys following behind as well, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, Candlefoot.
Yes, Holland.
Forgive me, I haven't actually said yet. Your voice is so lovely. I just wanted to wish you the best of luck. May Lyra shine down on you today. And he casts Bless.
Why, thank you. He feels this sort of radiant joy like bloom through his heart, and he goes, my voice is in excellent form. Thank you. He puts his hand on your shoulder, looks sincerely into your eyes, and yeah, and the wild magic does nothing, so that's good.
Wondering about that.
Imagine if you just caused an explosion right now. He gets a...
You turn Palasha into a teapot.
He's going to get a D4 to his performance check, isn't he?
It's saving throws. It doesn't actually have a mechanical use here, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's because I'm thinking of guidance. Alright, okay, yep. He feels the bless in his heart, and it does have a mechanical use somewhere.
Aw.
He's attacking her.
He's got to get the nerve to speak to her.
Mm-hmm. He stands at the sort of entrance to where everyone's queuing up to ride on the swans. And you see Featherine floating around. She's in the sort of the like pit stop area, sort of just having a little chill. She looks over at everyone and sees Candlefoot. She looks taken aback, but then her eyelashes just swoop like very sort of like in a way that's like, ooh, I see what's going on here. Sort of, she swims over and like leans her head forwards as though to really, really see what's going to happen right now. But she stays a distance away, so she's not actually like directly in front of anybody. Oh dear, I suddenly feel rather tongue-tied.
Oh, Candlefoot, remember, it's just like the old days. You don't need to have anything swimming around in your head, just let this do it for you. And he puts his paw on his chest. He's like, just let it flow.
Maybe there should be one thing swimming around in your head. Palasha.
Candlefoot nods. Oh, she is always in my head. Oh, look at her. He looks over, and Palasha is again quite melancholy, swimming around. And she hasn't noticed him, and she doesn't usually look over to the audience for very often, especially given the current disturbances.
Should we start it from here, or should we get on the back of Featherine and maybe she could take us closer to Palasha?
Good idea.
Oh, that would be an excellent idea.
Or maybe we start it from here, right? We get Featherine, we talk to her and we discuss this. We start it from here. She looks over yonder, and she sees Candlefoot, and Candlefoot rides Featherine to Palasha.
Oh, how romantic. That sounds really good, doesn't it, Candlefoot?
His eyes are set on the Palasha's goldfish ball, and he can't stop looking at her, but he's just nodding, and anything that happens around him he will comply with. He's holding his fists sort of tight. One of his left arm sort of wrapped around Marielle, and he squeezes her for good luck. And then he turns to Aelar and he says, I think you should hold this. Sorry, her. I don't think it's very gentlemanly to bring poultry.
It would certainly be most foul.
Flopsy messages the plan to Featherine so that when Candlefoot starts singing, Featherine can glide over in front of him for him to step onto.
You hear in your head, oh, I can't wait to be part of this. She comes over very prim, very sort of a head held high aloft and sort of curved in such a gracious way. She very cockily swings her back end around against the pier and swings her head round to face you all. Get in. This will be so romantic. Candlefoot sort of nervously hops into Featherine's gondola section on her back, and he stands on the seat that's closest to Featherine's neck with one leg, so he's perched like a sort of sailor, or like Peter Pan, sort of standing with his hands on his hips.
We'll start it off with the music, and then You join in with the singing.
Okay. Whew. I am ready.
Just to be clear, are we staying on the shore, or are we supposed to get on with him to play the music?
I presumed you'd both get in the second seat near the back of...
Okay, if we're getting onto there, what Flopsy's going to do is he's going to try and, like, kneel down on the floor, like, as low as he can get, so you can still hear the music, but you can only see Candlefoot when you look at Featherine.
Aelar's taken a slightly different approach and dancing while she plays it, like a background singer.
Yes.
Can Holland get on as well? Is there enough room?
Oh yeah, there's enough room for all of you, as you've ridden in her before.
Oh,
Marielle's
yeah.
gonna sit on someone's head so that she can dance and be singing, probably Holland's.
Yeah, I'll crouch down as well with Flopsy, and Marielle can come and sit on my knee.
Well, she'll be wanting to dance.
Oh, okay. Then she can stand between my ears.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Holland pulls out the bottle of wine again. Flopsy, I know I can't actually play anything, but this plays Calliope music. Is that useful?
Oh, that's more than useful. That's a brilliant idea. I actually think that's quite creative of you to think of, Holland. See? You can do it. I was going to give you a toot of my pan flute just to show you, but I think you've got the perfect thing right there.
Oh, wonderful. This is going to be amazing.
Okay. So is everyone getting into Featherine?
Yeah, Flopsy messages Oswald and is like, are you coming as well, Oswald?
I don't come, will come with you.
Candle-
You're there away from the dragonflies.
Okay. So you all get into the back of Featherine. You all take your positions on her. You can hear her giggling with excitement. And Candlefoot's still standing firm. His chin up. He's looking towards Palasha. And you can see that Palasha's sort of like spinning around in the bottom of her giant goldfish tank. And when she does do some sort of move, you can see that her eyes are closed. As she's just lost in her thoughts. And Featherine slowly starts to swim over Silversong Lake. And as you approach, you can hear what sounds like the humming of the mermaid. She has a very glassy tone to her voice. And Candlefoot turns around to you all and says, "Hear that? That's her beautiful voice. Now, hit it."
1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, everyone roll performance checks, whoever's taking part in this. Holland, you don't have to, because it's not you playing anything. But you pop the cork off of the bottle, and...
Indeed.
Oswald, what are you doing to perform in this?
Nod his head along.
He's just
Are you
gonna
tapping your foot?
he's just gonna tag along.
Are you doing anything to add to the music with you? Are you clapping? Are you...
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a little stomp and a clap.
Oh, you doing We Will Rock You?
Yes.
Okie dokie. You'll all have advantage because of the Witchlight wine Calliope music accompaniment. So that's a average roll of
15, 16, 22.
17.6.
Wow.
Okay. You approach. Candlefoot's mouth opens, he breathes in. "You're just too blue to be true. I can't take my voice away from you. You'd be like the ocean to touch. I wanna sing with you so much. And you see Palasha just like flick to life suddenly in her ball, and she looks over at Candlefoot and presses her hands against the glass, and you see bubbles sort of like rise out of her mouth like as she smiles. And she sings, "At long last love has arrived. Thank God for your voice, Candlefoot. You are so good to be true. Can't take my fins off of you." And they approach each other, and through the glass, Candlefoot sort of like jumps off onto the platform that her goldfish ball is on. "I love you, Palasha," and continue, as he sort of like dances around the goldfish bowl, and they sing to each other and finish the song to a rapturous applause from the audience, and she presses up against the glass, looks into his eyes, and she's mouthing something to him that you can't really hear from all the way over there. You see Candlefoot like puts his arms as wide as possible and like hugs the glass that she's inside. She like sort of snuggles up to the glass as well, and then you see her sort of like go like, "Nah," and she jumps up out of the goldfish bowl, grabs him with her thin like sort of webbed hands and pulls him underneath the water. He takes a huge breath before he does, and given his operatic lungs can hold his breath for rather a long time, and she spins around with him in there, and they come together, intertwine for a kiss. The crowd goes wild with cheers. You can see everyone's faces, everyone's clapping. Some people have gone red in the cheeks, like, ooh, oof. Featherine's like, ooh. And the Witchlight wine is open. Are you all having a drink?
Well, Holland can't.
Holland sure is. Holland took a swig of it straight away before Flopsy could get it away from it.
Holland, as you take a couple of glugs from the bottle before anyone can take it out of your hands, you feel this warm, just joyful sensation just trickle all the way through your body, down your arms, all the way into your fingertips, into your legs. You feel almost like all of your fears have just vanished completely. Everything you thought about on the mystery mine, gone. The worries you had before about family and things like that, not gone, but resolved for a moment as you feel the warmth running through you. Who else is drinking?
What breaks Holland gulping more of the drink is Flopsy's hand putting the bottle down and kind of tussles Holland's ears. That's quite enough there, I think, and then takes a swig himself before passing it along to Oswald. Would be the next one in the line. So Flopsy does take a bit of a glug.
Same thing. As soon as it touches your mouth, you feel the sweet taste of the sort of mixtures of berries on all those little flavours that you're so well accustomed to identifying. You can sense all the notes that are in this wine, and again, it fills you full of joy. All that fear gone. You feel on top of the world, paired with this reunion of your friend Candlefoot. It runs through you.
Oswald.
Oswald will just take a little sip.
A little sip? Yeah?
Yep.
You didn't have many fears preying on your mind to start with, but you feel a little less, like, reserved after taking a couple of sips. You feel as though when you look around that maybe you do have friends, and maybe these people are. Do you pass it to Aelar?
He takes one more sip and then passes it to Aelar.
Aelar takes a fair amount, but saving enough for Marielle. She drinks a bit.
As you drink, you sort of close your eyes and allow yourself to just have this moment, just to recognise this moment and to truly feel the immediacy and the present moment. And as you open your eyes after taking a few gulps, you look around and you look at Oswald first, and he's looking at you, and you have an understanding. This is a friend. You look
best friend.
This is a best friend. Flopsy and Holland. You look at those guys too, and you feel certain these are your friends.
And I hand the bottle to Marielle. Marielle, who at this point, with like her wing, takes the cigar out of her mouth, and she holds the bottle. It's a bit heavy, but she takes a good gulp, gets it in her beak, and just like starts chugging it down. And then once she's drank all the rest of it, she starts eating the bottle until she just swallows it down through her neck into her body and goes back to smoking a cigar.
Oh.
What does Marielle get?
Marielle's feelings feel somewhat similar to your own. She's she's quite contented. She burps after, even though it's not carbonated. She feels full and happy.
She goes over to Flopsy and does a gentle bow.
Mm-hmm.
And then just goes back to smoking a cigar.
Flopsy takes off his hat and does like a little curtsy to Marielle as she plods off smoking the cigar.
You see Candlefoot sort of like emerge from the water, like, and then he like leans his like arm, like, so he's like got his armpit over the rim of the goldfish ball, and he just puts the thumbs up towards you all, but like nods in a way that's like, okay, you can go now. And then like Palasha jumps back up and grabs him and pulls him back underwater. And he's like, Featherine sort of, flicks her eyelashes as she turns around. She's like, I think we better leave these to it.
Well, Featherine, you can take us back, and that is absolutely the best thing that's happened at this carnival so far.
I do believe it is. Oh, it is a shame about Hallie, though, isn't it? But I suppose we don't talk about that, do we?
Well, no, not if you don't want to disappoint Mr. Light.
Why? What did he say?
He said, Aelar, I thought you were like me, but you disappointed me.
Oh, that is simply awful.
I know.
Oh, you must feel disheartened.
Well, seeing Palasha and Candlefoot, it's cheered me up quite a bit. I don't have to be like anyone else. I can make my own way, and I should follow my own destiny. Everyone should.
Of course. My destiny is to swim around this carnival forever and listen and talk.
Do you like doing that?
Of course I do. It's my favourite thing.
Then it's the perfect destiny for you.
You're right about that. If you want, I could go and listen.
Listen to Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. Aelar looks at everyone else with like a big smile, but also with like an eyebrow raise, like, yeah, can we?
As if you don't already do that anyway, Featherine. Let's not lie here.
She swims you over to the pier and sort of motions like with her head for you to get off. Well, it wouldn't be right to take you all with me now, would it? It'd be rather obvious.
And also, how would you be able to tell us the gossip?
And that is the fun of it.
We'll probably be at the snail races next, so see you there.
I'll meet you there. Bye. And she just
Bye.
swims off, excitedly wagging her tail. Well, whatever fucking swans have.
Wagging a tail.
Well, I don't know what swans have. Them
They
big
do, they have
pointed
tails.
tails. Yeah. Okay. Palasha and Candlefoot are just like getting down to it, like snogging all over this.
In front of the audience.
Just
I'm not sure if
snogging
this is
away.
family friendly anymore.
No, I mean snogging away in this goldfish ball. He keeps coming up for air every now and then, but he does want to stay. Yeah.
Well, I think that was the absolute perfect thing to do, but it does raise the question of who's going to run the Hall of Illusions for the last little bit of the carnival.
Well,
We've kind of just pulled a skek on the whole attraction.
maybe the carnival can pull a thwacko.
Well, I'm already stretching my guys quite thin, but maybe I could get one of them to punch tickets at the Hall of Illusions? I don't think any of us should give up our time. Can I slyly send a message to Winston to send one of the Cherry Pie Boys over to the Hall of Illusions?
Yeah, you can indeed.
There's two of them to run the stall. I'm sure one of them can spare 5 minutes at the Hall of Illusions, can't they?
Winston goes, yeah, whatever. he said whatever.
I just don't want any loose ends from the good things that we do.
That's a good point. And the last time someone went in the Hall of Illusions without checking their tickets, well, we don't all know what happened, but me, Oswald, and Felix do.
Well, yes, we wouldn't want a repeat of any of that unpleasant business, would we?
A repeat of any of what, Flopsy? As you see Mr. Light emerge, he's got the scepter in hand, and the scepter is positively, like, vibrating in his hand.
Well, just any general unpleasantness. That's not what we're all about right now. Have you seen Candlefoot?
Is that what this is all about? He goes,
Well, yeah.
he goes and stands and looks and he goes, oh, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I knew there must have been something happening over here. I can sense it.
They're back together.
I can see that. Isn't it just darling? He's just...
Oh, I guess you could say it's delightful.
You are right. It is delightful, indeed. He looks over at Flopsy, and he says, and whose doing was this?
Well, primarily Candlefoot's own, I suppose. We all just did what we could, didn't we?
Well, I mean, he must have got his voice back, of course.
Oh yes, a witchlight miracle, so to speak.
Maybe
Excellent.
Maybe he had a fairy godmother, and
Maybe
Flopsy winks at Aelar.
Aelar is very glad that Flopsy said that. Because she's got a big beaming smile.
Light turns around to Aelar straight away. Ah! Was this your doing?
Well, I may have spoken to Candlefoot, encouraged them to, talk to each other.
So you're saying that you managed to get his voice back, all by yourself?
Well, with a bit of help from my friends.
I like that. I like that a lot. He puts his hand under your chin. Maybe I was wrong about what I said earlier. He puts the scepter closer to you, and it's practically like his arm is like struggling to keep still with how much it's buzzing. Ah, yes. He gets so full of this energy. He looks like he's practically going to explode. And then with that, he sort of like spins around on one leg and like waves his arms as high as possible. And just starts like fucking, like, what's the word? Like cartwheeling away. He's like, ah ha 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 ha. He's so excited.
Well,
It's
we
like the
have.
joy's back up.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Weird.
How's your joy looking, Oswald?
Did anyone else not see that guy?
Yeah, he spoke to us. I think I definitely saw him. Flopsy, did you see him?
Yes, I saw him. Did anybody not see him?
Did you not think
Narelle?
it was quite weird about how he just cartwheeled out of there?
Well,
Well,
I mean,
Laughing like some madman?
it did look like a very fun way to travel, didn't it?
Maybe we should try. And Holland just immediately starts cartwheeling.
well, Oswald, I know you prefer a slower mode of transportation, so maybe you can have some fun at the good old snail races.
Really?
What did you say, Oswald?
Oswald says maybe.
Right, and Holland and Flopsy, what are the snail races?
Holland's gone. Cartwheeled off.
Well, maybe not Holland, but Flopsy, what are the snail races, I say as I walk? Well, no, actually, I'm going to cartwheel as well to join in with Holland.
Yeah, Flopsy's going to start cartwheeling as well, but he's going to try and do it at the same pace as Aelar, going side by side so he can answer the question. Well, the snail races are so much fun! They're these giant snails that you get on and you race them.
Really?
I can't really describe it in any better ways because all of the blood is rushing in and out of my head very fast.
And maybe we'll see Skek.
Oh, certainly, we can check in with Skek and see how he's doing as well. And then Flopsy stops for a second and, like, dizzily kind of falls between both of his feet and then steadies himself and then starts doing more cartwheels.
Holland, as you were the first to leave, roll a perception check, please.
Okie dokie. Cheeky 24.
24?
Yes.
Okay.
He's got big ears, what can I say?
As you're cartwheeling around, you go upside down a little second, and as you do, you see a sort of cloaked figure enter the Hall of Illusions. Only you see this, as it happens in a split second as you round this corner. Aelar, you
like
would,
running.
you would,
I'm behind.
yeah, you would be behind.
Oh, it's that... Oh. And Holland's gonna just run in after.
Holland, you haven't got your ticket stamped.
Okay. So you running in after? Okay.
Well,
Flopsy's gonna
Holland-
cast a message to Holland and be like, Holland, remember what happened last time?
Yes, but it was on the outside. I think it's that bird again.
Holland, you should let her go.
Are you also in my head?
Yeah,
Holland's
that's
in.
message too.
Alright, okay, yeah.
We're just sending messages at similar times.
So you're also
Oh.
outside sending messages in there. Yeah, Holland, you, as soon as you enter the Hall of Illusions, you see the tiny baby rabbit you sort of like hopping in to your left and right as all of the walls to this corridor are mirrors, as you well know. You turn around to like you've sort of run all the way through to say perhaps about 5-year-old. So you've hopped and then started to walk on your feet a little bit, and then you started to walk normally as a little child. And you turn around and you see through the gaps, sort of like there's that flap of material in the way. You see it as it's sort of flapping in the wind a little bit. You can kind of make out the bodies of Aelar, Flopsy, and Oswald waiting for you outside.
But I can't see the figure anymore.
No. It's there's several different routes that you can go as you've come to sort of like a fork. Make a wisdom save.
Oof, okay. $22.
As you sort of stood there at the fork, you're looking around, and you see down the left side a dark cloak pass through a few of the reflections. You're not quite sure in which direction it's gone. You know it's down the left corridor, but further than that, you're not quite sure in the direction that it's gone. As you look to the right, you see the pig-faced girl, with the girl wearing the pig mask, in one of the reflections. She does not cast reflections anywhere else. And she's standing staring at you. She extends a hand out and beckons you towards her. You do not feel compelled through any other magical means to approach.
Holland is gonna like cartoon skid to a halt, as he sort of realizes that this isn't the Kenku, and is gonna start walking, facing them still, but just backing out.
Backing out of the Hall of Illusions completely, or going in the direction of the Kenku?
One of them was.
Left was the cloaked Kenku going to the left, and right was her beckoning you towards her.
But it went through the mirror.
She is within a mirror, like as though she is a reflection.
The Kenku, I mean, it's like
the Kenku hasn't gone through a mirror. She's sort of like gone through the corridor on the left and then gone around a corner, but like the reflections have all sort of like duplicated a little bit, and you're not quite sure where she's gone from there. Like, you know she went left, but you don't know where she went further on.
Okay. Well, he's already skidded, so I'm just gonna say gets a bit unnerved and just backs out anyway.
Okay. So you back out, and as you do, you sort of keep your eyes on the reflection of the girl, and when you come out of her sight, she appears in another mirror closer to you, standing right next to your like sort of 3-year-old self, and it's almost like she's walking alongside your small frame as it gets younger and younger, and she seems to just be looking at you, not your reflections, just you. And the way that she approaches, it's not like she's actually walking with her legs, it's like she's just a static statue floating beside your reflection. You hit, your head and back hits the flap of curtain, and you come out.
When Holland comes out, I'm just going to pull him into like a big hug and be like, Holland, why did you go in there without stamping your ticket?
Oh, well, you know, it seemed a bit more urgent. I'm sure the Kenku is in there.
Well, my mother has a saying. If you need to rush into some place, don't rush in head first. Use your head first. Think about what you're going to do and use your brains. You should always decide of a plan and make sure that what you're doing is safe. If it isn't safe, you shouldn't do it. But if you don't, and you think only using your immediate thoughts without having a second thought about things, you could be running into danger. And that is not a safe thing to do. Do not be silly. Do not be foolish. You must do the safe thing, and that will lead you to safety, and safety ensures happiness. Happiness ensures prosperity, and prosperity ensures the continued greatness Well, you don't need to know the rest.
Yeah, Holland stopped listening after about 5 seconds. He's like, turned to Flopsy.
Well, Aelar's mother does seem very wise. I think you should listen to her words. But it's not good for you to go running in there after what happened last time, completely on your own.
But it's back.
I know you're concerned, but didn't we make some sort of a deal with Kettlesteam that she was going to stop what she was doing and we were just going to go about things our own way?
Maybe she's in there having fun.
Exactly. She shouldn't be causing any trouble anymore.
And she certainly didn't cause any trouble when Candlefoot was proposing.
Well, she is causing trouble. She just ran in without stamping her ticket.
But so did you!
Yeah, but I was doing my employee duties.
But you're not an employee today, Holland. I don't know.
I am. I'm just on a day off, but I still work here.
Well, be that as it may. Oswald, you've got the biggest brain here. What do you think is the best course of action? You can double think for us.
What was that, Declan?
You sat well far away from your microphone.
Yeah.
Maybe I could go in with Holland.
Do you really think that any of us need to go in again?
I think I lost her. We might be too late to find her now.
But you're never too late to race a snail, right? I'm sure you want to. I'm sure you want to see Skek more than you want to see Kettlesteam.
Oh, that's true.
Well, in the spirit of racing, I bet I'll be the first one there, and Flopsy just takes off cartwheeling again.
Well, in the spirit of snail racing, I bet I'll be the last one there.
Oswald just potters along.
Aelar tries to be behind Oswald, like, at all times, because Oswald is presumably the slowest one. But what Aelar doesn't account for is that Merielle is behind Aelar, and Merielle is the last one to arrive.
Alright. You approach the snail racing. And the grandstands next to this racecourse are filled with cheering fairgoers, ringing bells, swinging rattles and waving flags. And on the starting line, 8 giant snails are having their shells scrubbed in preparation. Above the circular course, a wooden gantry hangs from the branches of a central tree, where 2 goblins officiate the proceedings. Skek sees you all and comes flying over.
Oh, hey everyone. Are you here to race some snails?
Yeah.
I knew you'd come and visit me. Well,
That's why we've come.
do you want to know the rules?
Aelar looks at everyone else to see if anyone wants to know the rules.
Well, I've raced snails before, but our friends here, I think they're quite unversed in it, so yes, we'll have the entire rule speech if you can.
Okay, so when you get on, they're gonna go really fast. And it doesn't look like it, but if you've ever seen these go, you'll know how fast they go. And yeah, you just gotta make sure you stay on. And there might be a few surprises that happen along the way. But it's generally frowned upon if you try to, spoil it for somebody else.
Oh, we'd never spoil it for anyone else.
Well, I say it's frowned upon, but if, people don't see you do it, or people don't catch you, you can give yourself a really good advantage. but you have to be creative.
And he sort of taps his nose.
Well, that's me done then.
Well, Skek, I have a bit of an idea. You would say that you're quite well versed in snail racing, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, all of us, we're not very practiced in snail racing, so it would be good if one of us, maybe Holland perchance, could have an experienced snail racer like yourself riding along with them to give them tips and tricks, and then maybe you could have a bit of fun while helping them.
Well, it
And he
wouldn't...
kind of winks at Skek.
It wouldn't really be fair, and also I've got to fly around and make sure I look at everybody's snails, so I could fly next to Holland's snail, I suppose.
Sounds good to me.
I just got to make sure that nobody does anything untoward. But I'm tapping my nose again,
He winks at you.
Flopsy winks
Oswald.
back.
Hey, Oswald. Oswald, I think you might win this one.
I think not.
I don't know. I mean, I hear that snail jockeys are usually quite short. You've got a clear advantage over the rest of us.
What book did you read that in?
Well, it wasn't in a book. But, well, it wasn't snail racing, but I once saw horse races.
It might be a different sport altogether.
It might be, but trust me, Oswald, I think you're going to do really well.
I think otherwise.
Well, always trust Aelar. Come on then, let's do some snail racing. Some snacing if you... Well, that doesn't really work. But some snacing if you will. Ha! Escargot!
Okay. Well, we have 8 snails, and there's 4 of you, so you could just all race each other if you like, or we could have, we could get other people to race with you.
I think we should race each other. We don't want Oswald to beat too many people. He might get a big head.
Alright, well, I'll just go tell them that these 4 other snails need to have a rest. So it's we can let you all ride together, okay?
And he goes over and flies around and sort of organises that 4 snails will be just taken out for this race. And he lines up a pink one, a blue one, a purple one, and a green one.
Aelar's on the purple one already.
You see that painted on the side of the purple one's shell, the name High Road.
High road. The high road to heaven.
So there's a pink, blue, and a green left over.
Flopsy goes up and starts, brushing the shell of the pink one in a big swirl, kind of following the pattern of the shell.
You see that one's name is Shelly Moo.
Oh.
Blue and green. Oh, sorry, Flopsy.
Whichever's closer.
Alright. What did you say, Flopsy?
Oh no, I was just going to say he climbs onto Shelly Moo and then just starts patting it going, moo, 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 moo.
Well, Oswald, would you rather choose between blue and green?
Oswald won't mind.
Aelar shouts, green like your book, Oswald.
Fine.
Alright, so you choose green, and that one's called Quickleaf.
Quickly.
And you, Holland, get onto Nimblefoot. Now, everybody roll initiative as you prepare. Oh no, sorry, excuse me, you don't actually have to roll initiative. You could just roll animal handling checks as you sit with the reins in your hand. Sorry, it was definitely not initiative there.
Oh, but mine was good.
Alright. Okay.
Come on, Oswald. He's got to win something, right?
Oh, bless.
Hopefully.
Go on, Oswald,
Well.
roll that animal handling.
Just blowing on it. You can't hear the blowing because it's got crisp on.
It's crisp.
Nice. Alright, okay, you see the two goblins waiting up in the gantry. They look down, Skek sort of gives a thumbs up, and you see that everybody gets a little fairy that sort of flies alongside them to watch, to see if anyone does anything untoward to give themselves an unfair advantage. Skek's flying alongside Holland, and you can see that Skek's sort of glancing around in opposite directions, but his head is like facing the snail. And you hear the goblins up in the gantry, who... Excuse me?
Wait, before we... Before we start, I'd
Nope.
like to
Nope.
put Aelar on Marielle for help.
Okay.
And then Marielle and Oswald snail.
Alright. The snails set off,
Look at
and
that.
they all move at an equal pace. Roll animal handling checks again.
Fucking hell. That's a 0.
Wow. Okay. So, here we go. Right. Okay, so, right. We have equal positions for Flopsy, Holland, and Oswald. Aelar, your snail seems to slow down a little bit. And you start to become a bit less, sort of like, well, you start to fall back a little. And you start to feel that your saddle is coming a little bit loose. Make a dex save.
Oh no. That.
Oh, nice. All right. Okay. Yep. The saddle actually falls off the snail and lands on the ground beside you, but you grab on and you just like straddle the snail shell as hard as you possibly can, and you continue to race on. Everyone make animal handling checks again. Ooh, okay. Nice. Holland, as you're racing on fourth, you're going at such incredible speeds. This is like 80 feet per 6 seconds. This is like a fast snail. And you see from the crowd a green spherical object come flying towards you in your direction. You see Skek jump up and he just like sort of punches it with his hand. And it's a lettuce. He punches it off course, but it lands in the way of Flopsy's snail. Flopsy falls behind a little bit. And Oswald is blazing on forwards. Oswald, you are 300 feet away from the finish line. You're like half the way round already. Everyone make animal handling checks again.
By the way,
Aelar, you are maintaining your speed. Oh shit.
Can I do something untoward to help Oswald?
You can indeed. Your untoward will give him advantage on that roll that he just did.
My untoward is that Marielle is going to cast Longstrider on Oswald's snail.
Alright.
I'll show you what it does. Is that level 1?
Flash it up. Another 10 feet. Alright, okay. Oswald goes racing on forwards, followed by Holland and Flopsy, who are tied. Aelar, you are like sort of slugging along at the back, but no one sees you.
Snailing along, please.
Snailing along at the back. No one sees that you cast Longstrider, and Oswald, you feel yourself just lurch forwards even more as your snail is like leaning forwards with all of its pressure and might, and it's almost like this sludge underneath it sort of gives it an extra bit of a slippy sliding speed. Little do you know, you don't know that has happened. You don't know that anything's been cast on the snail. Animal handling checks once more.
As we're going around, and I'll do it for the next round if there's another round of animal handling checks after this.
Yep.
Flopsy, it's only Skek that's looking at Holland's snail, right?
Yeah.
He's going to cast Phantasmal Force on Skek. So as he throws a cupcake at Holland to kind of return the favour of the lettuce being thrown in his way, he's going to throw a cupcake directly at Holland. I haven't actually managed to bust this out because I keep forgetting to use them. This is the intro of Flopsy's Bardic Inspiration. They're cupcakes. Holland, whenever you eat that cupcake, you'll get a d6 on your next roll.
Nice.
Aww.
Alright, okay. So, Aelar, you catch up to Holland and Flopsy, who are tying, so it's almost like you squeeze in between the middle of them, but not before a cupcake goes flying over. Roll a perception check to see if you can see what's going on here.
Yeah. Perception. 15.
You see this cupcake fly from Flopsy's hand, it lands in Holland's hand, and you are in between them both now, but Oswald is trailing ahead. He's literally about 100 feet ahead of you now. Animal handling checks. Oh, unless you want to do anything else.
Aelar's just shouting, "Go Oswald!"
You hear the crowd are cheering as you get even closer and closer to the finish line. Animal handling checks.
5.
Ooh.
Come on, Oswald.
You can add your Bardic Inspiration, Holland.
Oh, of course, yes.
That's 1d8, is it?
I think it's 1d6 at the minute.
Oh, sorry, 1d6, yeah.
Get it right.
Oh,
nice!
No.
Wow, okay, right. So, Holland and Flopsy come belting it up 20 feet behind Oswald. They've caught up to you, Oswald, and Aelar, you cheering so much that you've like sort of let go of the reins a little bit, and you sort of let your snail loose as it sucks back. It falls back way behind. Oswald, you're still chugging along. You have 120 feet to go. Animal handling checks, everybody.
Oh, you've got to do this.
Ooh. Ow.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Yes, Oswald.
Oswald.
Alright, you... Flopsy, your snail just sort of like stops all of a sudden, and you can see that like a bit of a muscle inside of its like bulbous body is sort of to like flicker, and you see that it feels like it's got a stitch, and it like goes like as it's running out of breath. It stops still for a moment. Aelar, you try and push on, and Aelar and Holland sort of Aelar catches up to Holland, but Oswald blazes on forth, crossing that finish line with all the power and glory of the world's greatest snail jockey. You see everyone cheering, woo! The goblins, the clear winner, the Gnomeling! And Skek's just flying along, everyone's clapping for you. And you get lifted up by all these goblins, and they just like throw you up into the air. And one of them turns as you all sort of like stop and get off of the snails. They go, "What's his name? What's his name?"
Oswald.
Oswald! 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 The entire crowd is cheering so much. Oswald, you're getting thrown up into the air like a trampoline. They set you down and they bring to you this snail shell. It's like a hand-sized, sort of like an apple-sized snail shell, but it's like painted gold. And they give that to you as along with a potion that is inside the snail shell. So you can see when you sort of turn it over that it's like almost like a glass snail shell. It's not a real snail, has not died for this, but you can see inside that when you roll it in your hands, there's this very nice shimmering silver potion within. One of the goblins says,
Now that is a potion of advantage.
Wow.
And who came in last?
Flopsy, because he's...
Yeah, Flopsy, his has stopped. Yeah.
When Shelly Moo stopped completely, Flopsy was just like, oh, well, and starts stroking Shelly Moo and going, there, Shelly Moo, which is casting Healing Word at first level to make the stick feel better.
Oh, it's
And
like...
then,
it like shakes its head and it's like, yeah, and it keeps going even further. And it starts racing on its own after everyone else has stopped. It just like tries its absolute best to get there at the end.
What a good guy.
You know, everyone sort of stands still waiting for quite a while as it like makes its full way around.
everyone's finished celebrating for Oswald, and then Shelly Moo finally crosses the finishing line while Flopsy's going, Shelly Moo, Shelly Moo.
The goblins are like, and we have a consolation prize. Here is your magic wand. And they give to you a magic wand that you know casts dancing lights once.
Ooh.
Wow, useful.
Flopsy looks as if he's just won first place, and he has a beaming smile as he climbs off of Shelly Moo and joins the others.
Well done, well done.
Oswald, you did so well. I knew you'd win.
It was alright.
It was amazing. Oswald, you were racing like the wind racing through the hair, the beard of a very cool snail riding Gnomeling.
I couldn't
you could say.
myself.
Aelar writes that down in a notebook as if she's keeping that for later.
Skek flies over with like a wreath of flowers and he hangs it over your head, Oswald, and he's like, wow, you're amazing out there.
Just that's on the sail. There wasn't really much to it.
Have you ever thought about being a professional jockey?
You so could, Oswald.
You'd be fantastic at it.
You were leaps and snounds ahead of us.
I prefer reading books.
What about reading books on snail racing?
What about racing snails and reading while you're on the back of them?
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's
You
probably
could, be, you
possible.
could be a real professional snocky.
Snocky.
I suppose.
Well, congratulations anyway. I bet that feels super good.
Well, Skek sort of like looks around and it's like, hey, isn't it time for the crowning of the Witchlight monarch?
Oh. Well, we better get to it. Come on, Flopsy, Marielle, Holland, and Oswald, and Skek, if you're allowed to come.
Oh yeah, everyone's allowed to come. It's like the greatest show of all time.
Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna go and close up now. I'll see you there in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Alright.
He just flies away.
What a nice guy.
Alright.
Well, come on, fellas. And Felix, Aelar says to Marielle. We better get going.
Well, how does everybody want to get there? We could walk along normally, as I think is Oswald's preferred mode of transportation, or we cartwheel here. Anyone else got any goofy ways of getting to the Witchlight monarch crowning? Which I think is at the big top, but I don't want to say that with such confidence if I'm wrong. DM?
Sorry, excuse me. I was just reading something. What did you say?
Is it at the big top?
Yes.
Right. Any fanciful ways of getting to the big top, guys?
Well, we could crab walk.
Oh, that does sound interesting. How do you do that?
Aelar, like, squats, puts her arms out into, like, crab claw shapes, and just sort of walks sideways.
Flopsy squats and tries doing the same thing, making eye contact with Aelar to make sure he's doing it right.
Aelar's being like, yeah, that's right, Flopsy, just like that. Come on, Holland and Oswald. Well, mostly Holland. You can do it too.
Yeah, go on, Helen, we'll do it.
Marielle is also doing a crab walk. She's got her wings out.
Is Oswald crab walking to the big top?
Oswald is not.
Alright.
Get to that big top.
Yeah, as you pass by the Hall of Illusions, Holland in particular, you do peek in there if you're so willing to. You can't see anything, of course, for the flaps of curtains, but you're just aware of that sort of thought.
Yeah.
Well, Marielle, may the best chicken win.
Alright, you see that there's quite the crowd forming outside of the big top itself. Let me just find all of the correct things. Am I just moving Holland and Oswald around for this whole time?
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, nobody else
Sorry, I'm
will.
always on my notes screen. I'm never on the map.
Yeah,
Alright,
Jenna.
I see. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So, just give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves, please.
Wow, it's already that time. Time of the day where the carnival ends. Has everybody had a good day?
Oh, I've had a marvellous day. It's the funny thing about time. It always tends to go so fast when you're having fun.
Holland?
I agree.
Oswald? Have you had a good day?
It's been a bit. I like. It was a bit scary.
Yeah. But it's always a bit scary doing something new.
I suppose.
Don't worry, Oswald. I think that you've made all of our days much better by you being here. Bestie.
Thank you, my friend.
Aelar, like, is fucking blushing now.
Oh,
Her cheeks go bright purple.
He said the thing.
Flopsy slowly raises his left arm to put around Oswald's shoulder, and then his right arm around Aelar's as well, and kind of shuffles closer to Holland to make it more of a group hug. Does anyone else join in, or is Flopsy just doing the weirdest thing ever?
Aelar's joining in, but she's also holding Marielle to cover her bush.
Thacker interrupts your hug by being like,
Ugh.
"Oh, I see we're all excited to see who's gonna win the Witchlight Monarch, I see."
do you think it's gonna be you?
I think it's gonna be you, Thaco.
No, I'm not attending.
Oh.
Oh, so loser.
Well, I've got to stand here and make sure nobody steals anything out of our wagons, whilst you all go and have fun.
You've gotta
What
make
a
sure nobody
shame.
has fun.
And I have high doubts it'll be you, you little shit. And he looks at Oswald.
I doubt that. I doubt your doubts, I mean.
Why am I a little shit?
Yeah. What's Oswald done? He's been, the nicest to you.
Do you think I'm stupid? I don't just
Yes.
fall asleep at my post. You
Well.
did something to me. Didn't you? And he steps forward towards you quite aggressively. Points at your face. He's smoking a cigar at the moment.
Hey, whoa, easy. Holland tries to step between them.
Oh, and what are you gonna do about it, little bunny boy?
You know, you're just a bully. You did this exact same thing with Skek, and now you're trying to pick on Oswald. Why don't you
Very
pick
original.
on your own size?
Listen, if I could stomp on Oswald the way I tried to stomp on Skek, then I would. But he's just too chunky.
And he pushes him a little on his shoulder.
Oswald casts prestidigitation right in his face, and it's just like a very foul, like cow shit smell.
You stinky little asshole!
And he tries to like slap at your head.
Whoa.
He like
Holland's gonna shove him if he can.
he swings his hand
Aelar is
forwards.
too.
Make a grapple check, Holland.
I'd like to assist, so you get advantage, hopefully.
What is that? Strength saving throw?
It's an athletics check for grapple. If you want to try and like get in the way and stop him. Ooh,
23.
nice. Yeah.
Well, no, not 20. Cause
Oh yeah, nat 20. All right, okay. Well, you can describe how you stop him.
He just like reaches round for Oswald, and Holland just grabs his wrist and like shoves him, like lifts him off the floor almost as he does it. Like it's a very, he's like throwing him back, making him stumble a bit.
He grabs onto his wrist and like sort of rubs it as though it's really hurt him, and he looks at you with just anger seething out of him. He spits on the ground in front of you and just stomps off.
Oh, Thaco, lighten up a bit, and before he goes out of range, I'm going to cast Hideous Laughter on him.
Wiz save, DC 13. He goes, "Why don't you shut the fuck?"
Spirit?
And he like balls up into the ground and like he's falling on his knees looking up at you, his like tears coming out of his face. And he's just like rolling around on the floor laughing, and he sort of like tries to roll his way over back to the staff area as he's laughing. You just hear his laughter piercing the air as he goes. And you see...
For about 30 seconds, I'm going to drop that.
Oh, you're dropping it now?
Well, he can carry on in the staff area while we can hear him, but I'm not going to be mean, so I'll make it last about... up to a minute. Yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, you can just hear him like... as he gets in there. You see Burley come out and he's like, "What was that about?"
I don't know, he must be having a good time. Oswald told a fart joke.
He's just finally doing his job, I guess.
I like that. He it's cheered him up a bit as that. So he's like, "Well, I can't wait to see who's going to win. Let's shall we all take our seats?"
Oh yes.
All right. Okay.
Aelar would like to sit in the children's section with Oswald again.
All right. So you enter the big top. Now. Okay. So. As spectators take their seats in the big top, you see... sorry, you all take your seats. So you're gonna... Aelar and Oswald go and sit in the children's section at the front. Is everybody going to the front this time?
No, I'll stay at the back. Holland's quite tall, so he wouldn't want to be sat in front of anyone.
Yeah.
Flopsy's got a massive hat, so he'll sit with Holland.
We've got etiquette.
You hear a fluttering of wings behind you, and it's Skek, and he goes,
Oh, hey, me and the pixies are gonna do like a little like flying dance and stuff, so are you gonna cheer me on?
Of course.
Okay.
"Wish me luck." He
Good
goes
luck.
flying over there. It happens every night, so like it's all right.
News.
He flutters behind the sort of dressing room area, and you see. Let's have a look here. You see, Candlefoot's already in there, and he is doing some amazing like magic tricks at the beginning to sort of wow the crowd. Again, showing off of all of his sleight of hand. He's got some card tricks. He uses a bit of prestidigitation as well, like a few tricks here and there. And he's going around all the children. He comes over to Oswald and he hands you a deck of cards. And he's like, take one.
Who are you saying this to?
Oswald.
Oswald takes a card.
No, take that one, Oswald.
You look at it, and it's the Queen of Hearts. And he says, now put it back in the pack.
Oswald puts it back.
And prepare to be amazed. And he like throws this smoke ball down onto the ground, and woof, the goldfish ball appears in the center of the stage, and Palasha's swirling inside of it, and the Queen of Hearts card, sort of like extra blown up size, appears inside the goldfish ball itself. Is that your card? The Queen of Hearts. Presented by the Queen of my heart.
Oh, that's so dear. That's so darling.
Does Oswald like nod that it's his card, or?
He's just gonna like stare and look at him.
Looks quite reserved. Is reserving his reaction.
Mm-hmm. Candlefoot just sort of like looks to Aelar for the response that it's the correct card.
Aelar's just like nodding her head.
And he goes, and you see it, magic! Ah ha ha! And then him and Palasha do a little number whilst everyone gets settled down.
I wonder how they did that magic. Do you think it's real magic? Aelar, who is a wizard, says.
Okay. Suddenly, the crowd quietens down a little bit. As from the back, Flopsy and Oswald, you see Derligron enter. And she comes... She's this, for those who don't know, Derligron's like a very large displacer beast, like sort of panther-looking creature.
Cute.
She's very stoic and very reserved, and she enters, looks around, and looks behind her, and standing there, holding onto the Witchlight vein, seething with joy, is Mr. Light, standing behind her, and Mr. Witch. Mr. Light, with his right hand, is holding Mr. Witch's hand as they both approach. And the crowd calm down. The goldfish ball gets sort of pushed away through the back, and all of the pixies come out. And they all start to do this grand sort of dance where they all come together and create shapes, like star shapes and things like that move around like 3D style. It's like synchronized swimming. And you can see Skek as he spins around in a star shape. He's like one of the points of the star, and he waves at you as he passes by.
Oh,
And,
back enthusiastically.
He's like, hey, hi! And you see all the rest of the pixies sort of all smiling and dancing too. And now they disperse, and a single spotlight falls on the empty stage. Durla comes down the walkways between the stairs, between the chairs, and sits up like a very regal cat, and beside her stands Mr. Witch. And Mr. Light waits at the top near the entrance, breathes in, and he begins to cartwheel down and lands in the spotlight with his head down.
Tonight, we crown our Witchlight monarch!
The entire crowd's like, "Way! Woo!" You see people there that are like sort of dressed in the best clothes. They're sort of sitting up eagerly, waiting to see who's going to be selected. He does a flourish with his hand. He's got the scepter in his left. He does a flourish with his right hand, bows deep down low, and you see that Mr. Witch in his other arm has been carrying a hat box. And he says, Mr. Light says,
"Now, Mr. Witch, do bring forth the monarch's crown."
Mr. Witch plods along with this hat box and hands it to Light as he sort of bows his head, holding onto his top hat as he does so. And Mr. Witch takes the box, puts it on a table.
"Now, before we announce the winner, we should announce third place. Now,"
he looks over everybody, and the sort of spotlights like jutter around the entire audience.
"In third place, we have..."
The spotlight lands on a human man, very sort of indistinct in his clothing, sort of brown hair, sat there sort of looking around confused a little. Gerald from Phandalin!
Phandalin?
Gerald sort of stands up and he looks a bit confused and he waves at everybody. And he says, "You have brought such joy to those around you, and I am so happy about that. I hope you've had a magnificent day. Gerald, let's all give Gerald a round of applause."
Go, Gerald! Woohoo!
And... the two finalists. It will be between these two that I shall announce the winner.
The lights go around again. Two of them this time are like trying to locate people in the audience. And the lights land, poof, on Aelar and Flopsy. The lights shine brightly on your faces.
Flopsy has a face of utter shock, and he starts fumbling around for Holland's hand next to him and squeezes Holland's hand. And then he fumbles with his other hand and starts squeezing the stranger's hand next to him as well.
Aelar stands up and starts blowing kisses to everyone.
And with that,
he opens the hat box and pulls up this golden crown, ceremonial, just bedazzled in jewels, and the lights hit it, and the lights just like spin around the whole room like little mirrors.
The winner of the Witchlight monarch crown is...
And we're going to leave it there for today and end our session on that little cliffhanger for you there. Alright, find out next week who will win the Witchlight Monarch.
You're actually terrible. I hate you.
Alright, okay, so thank you for listening, everybody who has been listening. If I will be uploading the last episode and this one to YouTube very shortly.
So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Blah, 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 blah.
And hit that bell as well.
Oh, bloody Nora. Right, okay.
Donate me money.
Goodbye, everybody. See you later. Say bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.